R. Kelly is a predator, and as a result of our prosecution, he'll serve a long jail sentence.
R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in one federal case and 20 years in another. Now, new court filings claim he may not live long enough to serve either sentence. His lawyers are arguing that prison conditions are actively putting his life at risk.
These are people who seek to kill Mr. Kelly rather than allow the corrupt criminal conduct.
A newly surfaced release date has people wondering if his time behind bars could end much sooner than anyone expected. Here are the details. R. Kelly says he is dying. Think about what that means. One of the biggest names in music history. Songs played at every wedding. Face on every magazine cover. Now sitting in a federal prison, telling the entire world that someone is trying to take him out permanently. That is where Robert Sylvester Kelly stands today. The man who gave us I Believe I Can Fly. The man who wrote hits for Aaliyah. He is behind bars, and his lawyers just dropped a major bombshell in court. They are claiming his life is in danger, not from other inmates, not from gang violence, but from the prison itself.
For R. Kelly want him released, saying his life is in danger behind bars.
This is not some random conspiracy theory from a comment section. These claims are coming directly from his actual legal team, and they are dead serious about it.
Filed an emergency motion this afternoon claiming officials with the Bureau of Prisons are trying to have him killed.
The Bureau of Prisons, the same department that is supposed to be protecting him. His team is directly accusing them of orchestrating a move against the fallen R&B king. Before you dismiss it, let me walk you through what actually went down, because some of this is wild. Like a full movie script, wild.
Kelly's lawyer named two people who claimed they were solicited by the Board of Prisons to kill him.
His attorney, Bo Brinley, filed court paperwork in Chicago federal court in June 2025. The allegations inside that motion read straight out of crime drama.
These are people who seek to kill Mr. Kelly rather than allow the corrupt criminal conduct.
Prison officials allegedly recruited an inmate named Michael Glenn Stein to carry out the job. Stein was not just any prisoner. He is described as a leader in the Aryan Brotherhood, the same white supremacist prison gang that has made headlines for decades and is known for extreme violence. And here is the shocking part. Stein was reportedly terminally ill. According to Kelly's legal team, someone inside the prison offered him early release in exchange for killing Kelly. At the time, both men were being held at a federal facility in Tucson, Arizona, and that is not even the most disturbing claim. Kelly's attorneys also alleged that a Bureau of Prisons official personally called Kelly and warned him to stay away from the mess hall. Why? Because the food was allegedly being tampered with and possibly poisoned. They claimed there was an attempt to harm him through what he was eating. What happened next made the situation even more serious. After his lawyers filed a motion outlining these accusations, Kelly was placed in solitary confinement, not for a disciplinary infraction, but allegedly against his will. He was locked down 23 hours a day in dark conditions, with insects in the cell and almost no human interaction. Fearing that his meals were being poisoned, he began refusing to eat. Then, on June 12th and 13th, 2025, while still in solitary, his attorneys say prison staff administered an excessive amount of his prescribed anxiety and sleep medication. Kelly collapsed and was rushed to hospital, where doctors discovered blood clots in his lungs, a potentially life-threatening condition. After receiving treatment, armed officers reportedly removed him from the hospital and returned him to the same solitary confinement cell. His legal team described the entire sequence as part of an ongoing assassination attempt. Now, many people question those claims. It sounded to some like a strategy to gain sympathy and push for early release. The court appeared to share that skepticism. In June 2025, a judge denied his emergency motion for release, stating there was insufficient evidence, no independent confirmation, and no outside investigation supporting the alleged murder plot. As a result, Kelly remained in custody, continuing to serve the sentence imposed by the court.
Kelly is currently serving a 30-year sentence for child sex crimes.
His legal team continued their fight. They even discussed the possibility of pursuing a presidential pardon as a potential path to his freedom. But that was not the end of the story. In February 2026, another incident pushed the entire Kelly is in danger narrative back into the headlines. This time, he was transferred to FCI Butner Medium I, a federal prison in North Carolina. Different facility, same controversy. And what happened there may have been even more dramatic than before. According to reports from inside the prison, Kelly was participating in a mentor program, the kind where inmates help guide others through their sentences. It is a fairly standard program within the federal system. A warden or high-ranking official was overseeing the initiative. Before retiring, that official gave Kelly something he likely should not have: his personal cell phone number. The explanation was reportedly simple. The official wanted to remain involved with the mentor program after stepping down and stay in contact to continue the work. Then everything unraveled. Kelly's cellmate was caught with a contraband phone, which is a serious violation in federal prison. When officers searched the cell, they conducted a thorough sweep looking for additional evidence. During that search, they found a notebook belonging to Kelly. Written clearly inside was a retired official's personal phone number. That was enough. Kelly was immediately removed and placed in the SHU, the Special Housing Unit. Officially, that is what it is called. Unofficially, inmates know it as a whole. It is solitary confinement. The convictions, the sentencing, the 30 years, the civil lawsuits, the appeals, and what is actually happening with his projected release date. Stay with me, because the next part may surprise you. This is how the so-called king of R&B ended up facing 3 decades behind bars. T.O. understand why R. Kelly is fighting so aggressively for his freedom. You have to understand how he got there in the first place. And it is a long story. Robert Sylvester Kelly was born on January 8, 1967, in Chicago's South Side, in the Ida B. Wells Homes public housing complex. It was real project housing, no shortcuts. His mother, Joanne, raised him and his siblings as a single parent. She was a school teacher who sang in the church choir and made sure her son was surrounded by gospel music from the beginning. Kelly began singing in church at around 8 years old. His mother would place a nickel on the record player needle to slow down Stevie Wonder songs so he could practice the vocal runs. That is how serious music was in their household. He attended Kenwood Academy in Hyde Park, where he played basketball, but eventually dropped out before graduating. Still, his music teacher, Lena McClin, recognized his talent early and encouraged him to pursue singing seriously. The rest, as they say, became history. BY 1991. Kelly had signed with Jive Records and formed a group called Public Announcement. Their debut album, Born into the 90s, was released in 1992 and went platinum. He followed that with his solo album 12 Play in 1993, which sold more than 5 million copies. Bump and Grind held the #1 spot on the R&B charts for 12 straight weeks. 12 weeks. Few artists could compete with that level of dominance. Then came the major crossover moment. In 1996, I Believe I Can Fly, featured on the Space Jam soundtrack, became a global hit. The song won 3 Grammy Awards and turned into an anthem for graduations, championship games, and inspirational events everywhere. Even now, hearing it brings back powerful emotions. At that point, Robert Kelly was at the top of the industry. The same type of isolation Kelly's lawyers said nearly killed him the year before. And now, he was right back in it for 2 full weeks. He was locked down with no access to the general population and no normal privileges. Just 4 walls and an internal investigation focused on why he had a former prison official's phone number written in his notebook. The Bureau of Prisons remained silent throughout the situation. Officials declined to comment publicly, citing privacy and security concerns. That is standard procedure, but it left the public relying entirely on statements from Kelly's defense team. His attorney, Bo Brinley, responded forcefully. He said Kelly was being held under the label of an investigation, but there was no legitimate basis for it. According to Brinley, the only connection between Kelly and the retired official was the mentor program, and the phone number had been given to him directly. It was not smuggled in. By mid-March 2026, prison officials released Kelly back into the general population. The investigation concluded with no findings of misconduct, no charges, and no disciplinary action. Brinley stated that his client had been held without proper cause, and that the facility ultimately had no grounds to keep him there. The story first surfaced through TMZ on February 16, 2026, and quickly spread. People magazine reported on it. The Complex covered it. Black Enterprise followed as well. Once again, headlines focused on R. Kelly being placed in the hole. So this is where things stand. For more than a year, his legal team has claimed that the prison system is trying to kill him. He has been placed in solitary multiple times and hospitalized once. Each new incident has been followed by additional legal filings seeking early release. That raises a question everyone is asking. What is really happening with R. Kelly's release date? With allegations of murder plots, claims of medication overdoses, repeated solitary confinement, and ongoing appeals, many expected some kind of change by now. Here is the full breakdown. And the public either did not know or chose not to look too closely. In August 1994, Kelly was 27 years old and at the height of his success when he secretly married 15-year-old singer Aaliyah, who would later become an R&B icon before her tragic death in 2001. Their marriage certificate listed her age as 18, which was false. Federal prosecutors would later allege that Kelly bribed an Illinois state employee to obtain a fake ID so the marriage could take place. The marriage was annulled in 1995 after her family discovered the truth. It was a major red flag. Yet his music continued to dominate the charts. In 1996, Tiffany Hawkins filed a lawsuit claiming their relationship began when she was 15 and he was 24. The case was settled for $250,000. Additional lawsuits followed over the years, many ending in private settlements and confidential payouts. Public conversation remained limited, and his career continued forward. Then in 2002, Chicago Sun-Times reporter Jim DeRogatis received a videotape that allegedly showed Kelly engaged in sexual activity with a girl believed to be 14 years old. Illinois authorities indicted him on 21 counts of child pornography. The trial was delayed for 6 years. When it finally began in 2008, Kelly was acquitted. The girl in the video did not testify. Her family denied it was her, and jurors later said that although they believed it was Kelly in the footage, they could not determine the girl's age beyond a reasonable doubt. Once again, he walked free. His career continued. He released new music, toured, and generated significant revenue. But the allegations never fully disappeared. Industry insiders were aware. Families of alleged victims were aware. Still, accountability remained out of reach. Everything shifted in 2019 when Lifetime aired the documentary series Surviving R. Kelly, executive produced by Dream Hampton. The 6-part series went viral. Survivors shared their stories publicly. Family members spoke out. Former associates described what they claimed to have witnessed behind closed doors. The narrative surrounding R. Kelly changed dramatically.
Prosecution team says he avoided punishment for decades, until today.
R. Kelly is a predator, and as a result of our prosecution, he'll serve a long jail sentence.
The series portrayed what witnesses described as a cult-like operation. Women allegedly were told when they could eat, when they could use a bathroom, and when they were allowed to leave a room. Phones were confiscated. Outside communication was cut off. The allegations were disturbing. The documentary shifted public opinion almost overnight. Within months, RCA Records dropped him. The hashtag Mute R. Kelly movement gained national momentum. Streaming platforms began removing his music from major playlists. Most significantly, federal investigators took notice. One prosecutor later stated that a Homeland Security agent watching the documentary ultimately helped trigger the federal investigation that led to charges that by 2021. Kelly was on trial in federal court in Brooklyn. The charges included racketeering and sex trafficking. Prosecutors used a RICO statute, a law typically applied to organized crime and mob leaders. They argued that Kelly operated his own criminal enterprise. According to the government, his managers, bodyguards, drivers, and assistants were part of a coordinated operation that spanned more than 25 years. Prosecutors claimed the purpose of that enterprise was to use his fame to recruit young women and girls, isolate them, control them, and subject them to abuse. The trial was intense. The prosecution called 45 witnesses. The defense called 5. Multiple women testified that they were approached at concerts, exchanged contact information with members of Kelly's team, and were later flown out to meet him. Some were minors at the time. Witnesses described strict rules and being required to refer to him as Daddy. One woman testified that she was choked until she lost consciousness. Another stated that she contracted a lifelong illness and was never informed that he allegedly knew he had it since the 1990s. The jury heard weeks of testimony. In September 2021, the verdict was announced. Guilty on all 9 counts, including 1 count of racketeering and 8 violations of the Mann Act, a federal law that prohibits transporting individuals across state lines for illegal purposes.
30 years. That's the sentence for singer R. Kelly. 55-year-old fallen star learned his fate after being convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking.
R. Kelly was dressed in dark glasses and a khaki shirt. When asked by the judge if he wanted to make a statement, he declined.
30 years, 3 full decades. Judge and Donnelly said the public needed protection from this type of conduct. Prosecutors had requested 25 years. Kelly's defense team asked for less than 14, pointing to his traumatic childhood and personal history. The judge was not persuaded. One of the prosecutors made it very clear that this sentence reflected the seriousness of the crimes.
I never thought that I would be here to see him be held accountable.
Years did he do this, and 30 years is what he got.
His attorney, Jennifer Bonjean, spoke after sentencing as well. She strongly criticized the outcome and made it clear that the legal fight was not over.